If you are running an agency and not using AI properly, you are about to fall so far behind. I sat down with Shaun Clark, the CEO and founder at GoHighLevel, a company valued somewhere north of $2 billion. And what he shares about the future of AI will not only shock you, but it will completely change the way that you scale your business. We also go over 4 different powerful strategies that you can use right now to grow faster, scale smarter, and ultimately get ahead in this AI era. So pay close attention, get out your notes, and let's jump right in. With me today is Shaun Clark, one of the founders of HighLevel, one of the fastest growing SaaS companies in the world. He is the guy that has basically gotten our subscription costs down and saved us from those late night Zapier panic attacks. Shaun, thank you so much for being here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Of course, of course. So really, we're going to go into a couple different questions here. The first one really, though, is with AI and agencies. And we're going to go through a couple in this topic. So the first really big thing I wanted to ask you is, do you think that selling AI, as far as AI chatbots, AI voice agents, to local businesses is almost the equivalent as selling websites back in 2005? Because I'm seeing all my students in my community selling the crap out of this. It's
100%.
like, it's so easy to sell. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is absolutely the case. And in fact, if anything, I think it's better than websites ever were, because while websites hold the promise of something, hey, you put this website in, it should hopefully maybe do something for you. This absolutely immediately does something for you, right? Because we already have this workload that is being done or should be being done. And if it's not being done, boom, instantaneously, you're going to show results for people. So on the inbound voice AI, you're picking up calls that are already coming in. And on the website, you're already picking up traffic that is already there. That is radically different than back in the day when it was like, if we put a website in there and then you SEO it and then you run some ads and then traffic will come and then you got to convert this traffic. Like, it's so many steps versus the AI stuff is just instantaneous results.
Yeah, definitely. And the cool thing too is you can add a lot of these features to their social medias, their existing website. And what I've noticed too because I'm having so many testimonials come out of people just crushing it in my group using HighLevel. One of the things I'm noticing is it's like every business is new again because you can sell it to everybody.
100%. In that sense, it is like websites for sure, where, hey, did you know about this? What's cool? There's a little bit of okay, so this kind of, I think this is interesting and I'd be curious to see how it works. But back in the day when you were doing websites, you had to be like, okay, so there's this thing called the internet and people are on it and they're searching for you. So this is why you should do it versus I think what's cool about AI is it's like, you don't have to say like, you're getting phone calls. Everyone knows that, right? You're getting website traffic. They already know that. What you're really saying is we're going to take what you already have and we're just going to make it better. And unlike if you think about where we were before AI, it was, hey, you're going to have to spend money on ads to drive more traffic. And everyone hated that because I had to pay more money for it. A lot of people had been through it. They're like, no, I've heard this before. I hired some other person. They did a crappy job. Yeah, I spent a lot of money on Google ads. It went nowhere. This is different. We're saying, look, no ad spend. We're going to take what you already have today and we're just going to double your conversion rate overnight. It's a pretty cool sale if you ask me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it solves so many problems. It actually brings me to one of my next points that I'm seeing. I don't know if this is actually very directed for you, but HighLevel definitely is CRM, SaaS. But do you think with AI, this is going to turn more into an all-in-one business software platform? Because it's starting to solve more and more problems where it's not just, hey, we can manage your leads. It's like everything.
Oh yeah, 100%. And AI really does lead the charge there. And here's the secret, which I think is so cool. Agencies are going to crush this way more than anybody else and here's why. Because AI, in my opinion, is an engine. It is not the thing. You don't settle AI. I get that AI came out and everyone saw ChatGPT and you can all go play with it and this and that. But then if you ever go ask like a business owner who's used ChatGPT, okay, how has this replaced something you currently do with your business? The answer is it really hasn't. And the reason why is because I think it's like an engine on a car. You are selling the car, but as the technician, as the person who understands the technicalities, you're swapping out the engine. And what that means is the AI is doing the work for you, but it doesn't remove the fact that it is still a technical job. So agencies are going to be so necessary to actually bring this technology to the actual small business owner. And this is why when AI is out there, which I put it in air quotes because it is itself, because the business owner doesn't care and that it's AI or not. They just want to know, like, how can you make it faster, better, cheaper? And that's what you're doing here. You're saying, listen, we're going to take however you're answering calls today, we're going to replace that with AI. And what does that mean? That means you're going to pick up all your calls, not just some of them. You're going to do it 24/7, 365. That means 2 a.m. on a Christmas morning. We're still picking up phone calls.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it using a much less expensive option that's still going to result in net better conversions. Oh yeah, on your website, same thing. So what you're doing is you're showing them how you're replacing the work with a solution that's cheaper. And the engine is AI, but they don't care. They're not interested. They're not going to learn it. But you are as an agency, which is going to allow you to make so many more sales, scale your business a lot better, and deliver, honestly, a way better solution to the business owners you're working with.
See, I love that you said that because that actually answered one of my later questions. So we can scratch up because a lot of people are really scared of AI is just going to kill all the agencies. But it's
Oh my God.
how the hell are you going to sell this?
Agency.
Yeah.
Supercharged. I think, man, I'm telling you, because it is a technical thing. And it will continue to evolve. This is the other beautiful thing, right? And just put yourself, I think a lot of times we have a hard time stepping out of our own world, but put yourself in the shoes of a plumber, right? The plumber does not lose the day-to-day job of having to get in a van, drive out and fix the toilet, fix the leaking water, install the new blah, blah, blah. That's their job. Fundamentally, AI does not just sweep into that. It doesn't jump in the van. It doesn't fix the leaking water, doesn't install the toilet. None of that work goes away. Right? So they don't have time. And this is the most important piece. They're not going to gain any time back to be like, oh, you know what? I don't do that anymore. Now I'm going to jump on the internet. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'm going to set all this up. I'm going to know what the heck an agent is. I'm going to learn how to update that agent and everything else and train it. No, that's not going to happen. But what's going to happen is you're going to know that. So then you're going to roll in and you're going to say, hey, listen, you're not going to say, hey, I'm going to sell you an agent that's trained because they won't know what that is.
Yeah.
You're going to roll in and give them a solution to a problem, which is, hey, listen, when you're in that van, when you're out at that customer location, you are missing phone calls. And it's most likely you're not solving that at all today. So I can solve that for cheaper, or I can solve that to begin with. Or if they say, oh, no, I have let's say I have an answering service. If anybody knows what the heck that is, you're going to say, look, Barry, you're going to allow you to get rid of that answering service and actually do a better job and save you a lot of money at the same time. So either way, it's the same thing you were doing before, which is you're solving problems. But now you're solving it with a tool that is way less expensive, fully automated, runs 24/7, 365. It really is an amazing solution to those problems, but it continues to evolve. It's still very technical.
Yeah.
It is where agencies are going.
It also doesn't ask for raises.
Yeah, that's the idea. The idea is it's incredibly scalable. And that's the other fun thing. It's like, back in the day, I used to say to people, I actually used to run an answering service way back in the day. And it was awesome because look, I'm telling you, every small business you ever meet, they miss phone calls. Whether they know it or not is irrelevant. They absolutely do. And we would get people who say, no, but I have Jeff on the phones and he's great and he's amazing. He's this and he's that. And I'd be like, oh, cool. Does Jeff work 24/7, 365? Where's Jeff on 2 a.m. on a Christmas morning? And what most people would find is, you know what? They also forgot that they also asked Jeff to make copies, to run that errand, to greet people when they walk in the front door. And so they would miss calls at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday morning because Jeff was doing a kick-ass job greeting that person walking through the door, but missed that call. Things like AI fundamentally allow you to automate that. And now the Jeffs of the world can actually do a better job because now you're like, look, I need you to greet everybody walking through the door. And now you don't even worry about the calls because AI can handle it. It's an incredible solution for these business owners.
I love that. And that actually segues perfectly into something that a lot of people ask me a lot on YouTube, which is like, what makes high levels AI tools different than the plethora of these other tools out there? And real quick, what I've been telling people, and let me know if this is tracking because I'm very interested to hear your answer, but I told them the biggest advantage is it's AI already connected to a CRM. You don't have to duct tape stuff together. So I'm curious to because that's a question.
That answer, right?
So much though.
Yeah. Because, okay, so think about it like this. Let's just assume for a second, we build the same AI tools as everybody else. Okay. And let's just say that's the case. But then the reality is like the AI is only as good as we all know this, as good as the data, right? And we always hear about models and training, this and that. But what's really going to drive home actual great results for the business is having information very specific to that business, right? Their contacts, their hours, their services, their this, their that, and all the history of that. That is what a CRM is all about, right? It is all that history and all that information. And so having the AI live on top of that data and be trained by that data is going to be absolutely critical. And when you can put them all in the same place, and this is the fun part, because that data is not static, right? Their business is moving and changing every day. And the AI living on top of that data as it changes, continues to retrain itself. That is going to make the absolute best outcome. And remember, if you're old enough to remember this There used to be this search engine called Yahoo, way bigger than Google, way bigger than Google. It was way out before Google, and yet Google came along, and by the way, and just crushed it. And why is that? It was simple. You would search something on Yahoo, and you would search it on Google, and Google's results just blew it out of the water. And why was that? It's because they had a superior algorithm to train their data model. And that's what you're going to have here for your customers. Those AI responses, the things that the AI engine is working on, will be more accurate. And so as a result, the end result to the customer is going to be better. And what does that mean for the small business? More customers, more conversions, better service.
I love that. Yeah, that's perfectly edifies what I've been thinking. But that actually segues right into wondering, what is any like new AI features you guys have coming out? Do you have anything that's just going to blow us away or upgrade?
Yeah. So again, okay, so let's go back. So our core belief is as it's funny, as much as things change, they stay the same. So our core belief is that agencies are going to drive adoption for AI. And so what that means to us is that we need to be providing the absolute couple of things. One, best solution for you to implement on behalf of your clients to make a sale. So that's inbound voice AI. Outbound voice AI is in the works right now. We've also got inbound chat AI, but we're also going to be putting out a fully agentic builder. And basically that means you're going to be able to go in and create end-to-end agents. And if you've ever seen something like N8N or something like that, that will all be inside HighLevel. And so what's fun about that for us is that if you think about any of the larger CRM systems, if they go out and put an agentic builder in, good luck. Because who's going to be using that? They're going to be pitching that to Bob the plumber. Oh, Bob, yeah, just going to go in and build an agent today. Like, what are you talking about, man? But for our crowd and the fact that we believe in agencies, you guys are going to love it because you're going to be able to build your own agents. You don't have to go outside the system. We're going to have all the same integrations and everything else. And you'll be able to create these agents. And most importantly, you'll be able to duplicate them in snapshots, roll them out to many people, scale them up. You'll be able to have standard parts of the agent. So for example, if you're like, every plumber needs the following new change, boom, you make that change. It rolls out to everybody. But then you'll also have private modules where you'll be able to say, no, but for this specific client, I needed to change to, let's say there's a local law or something they have to deal with. You can make that training update just for that one client. So you have this beautiful interweaving of both private and public, and it allows you to scale out your business really well. As you make your agents better, they can get better for everybody. So that whole agentic builder you're going to see here coming up in the next couple months.
I cannot wait for that. Yeah, that's what I'm really pumped for, because I'm not a big fan of N8N. So if we can...
And honestly, at the end of the day, our mission has always been, and this is actually, it's perfect. We follow our customers. We always do. It sounds terrible, actually, but I always like to say our job is not to innovate. Our customers are the innovators. Our job is to come behind our customers and look at what they're doing, figure out where the best in class are at, and then fill in the gap. And having a third-party system like N8N, it's not a pain in the butt, because yet another tool you have to go get someplace else. We're going to put it in-house. We're going to just put it inside HighLevel and make your life a whole lot easier.
Oh, please do. Yeah, that I'm very excited for. That actually, maybe just think of something else. This is totally off topic, not off topic, but is there any features in HighLevel that you think are like very underestimated? Because for me, I think it's the WhatsApp integration. I think so. That has been a hidden.
Okay. So the answer is yes. The answer is yes, but it's different for all people. I am always surprised. This is how we are as human beings. We're always like, oh, what's new? What's new? What's new? The problem is if I go, hey, listen, it's 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. You left early. Somebody came to the website and they submitted a form, or they went through and they filled out one of your Facebook lead format. Do they get an answer or some kind of communication within 10 seconds or less? And if they write back, yeah, I'm really interested, does it follow? Does the AI come in? Do you have AI? Do you have anything? Do you even have here's a calendar booking? Like, the number of people who have that level of automation, that simple level of automation for all their customers, I'm always surprised how many people don't have that. It's crazy to me, because that is where all the money is. There was a great study done back in the day by a company called Inside Sales, which I think is now called something else, where they just looked at, they were like an outbound salesperson platform, and they looked at the close rates relative to the response times. And it is not a linear progression, right? It is a logarithmic progression, which means it's an exponential progression. The faster you get back, it's exponentially higher likelihood that you actually close that sale. And as you walk away from response times, it goes down exponentially as well. So if 30 seconds versus a minute versus 10 minutes, you're not talking about a straight line. You're talking about a line that just drops through the floor. And so by automation in place, it is amazing how many more sales you can make. It's incredible. Yeah, I do think if you're not in the US, WhatsApp can crush it. I think that there are some upcoming things like RCS is going to be a really big deal, where I think people most people be like, I don't even get what RCS is.
Yeah, what even is that?
Yeah, exactly, right? So RCS is, think open source iMessage. And the cool thing is your iPhone now has compatibility with it. So imagine that you can send, like when back in the day, if you have an iPhone and your friend has an Android, you send them a picture and they're like, oh, it's all fuzzy and it's small. RCS solves for this. It basically makes iMessage almost like a universal iMessage standard across Android and iPhone. So you're getting, and all of this is run by Google. It's in the background. All the US carriers have adopted it. I think it's going to be huge, but it's something that's coming up around the corner. Your iPhone, if you're on iPhone like 18 or higher, which everybody is now, RCS is automatically enabled. So that will be a cool thing, but it's going to be seamless. It'll be under the hood. And so you'll see that out probably in Q4 this year. So there's these things where, the smallest of changes can make the biggest of differences. When you send a picture, if it's really nice, it's great. And we all expect it these days, but if you can do that seamlessly with a business, makes a huge difference.
I love that. I love that. One thing I really would love your opinion on, I'm starting to realize that AI is nicheless because you can train it on anything for the most. Like an AI agent, you don't have to be niched down for an AI agent. You can just into the prompts.
I would tell you my straight answer to this.
Please.
I compete for everyone and their mother to disagree with me, but here's the reality, in my opinion. I have talked to thousands of agencies. The ones with the least amount of churn, this was pre-AI, and I guarantee you it would be post-AI. It's always the local guys. And here's my pitch. I would say the average person will, especially when they're getting started, we're all going to suck. We're all going to be terrible at it, okay? We're all going to have horrible sales technique. But sales is still know and trust, right? Can you get across to me that you know enough about my business and about the solution you're pitching to help me? And if you can't, you lose. If you can, you win. Now, how do you bridge a lot of those gaps? A lot of those gaps are bridged by these weird, funny things that we all take for granted. Like, we know where we're sitting right now. Is it hot? Is it cold? Was there a storm yesterday? Is there a big event coming into town? Have we lived here for 10 years? Do we know lots of things? We're able to communicate those things seamlessly to people that we are local to, and we instantly create relations. And it's amazing. We may go to similar events, or our kids may go to similar schools, or we may have similar experiences, which allow us to create connection, which is the start of the know and trust bridge that you're trying to build.
Yes.
And so for people, when you're not strong on all these other things, like how the AI works, I've got 1,000 customers, I've done this 1,000,000 times. If you can't make that pitch, what you can do is you can make the pitch of, hey, listen, I care about you. I live in your community. I know a lot about it. If you ever have an issue, I can drive over there literally and see you. Those sorts of things create trust, which is the start to that sale. So for me, it's the same. Walk out your front door, go talk to the business owners community. That is where you should start. That is where you will start to win. And here's the good news for all of you who are somehow afraid that you're going to sell every business in your community and be out of luck. That is also a fallacy, because here's what's going to happen. The day you sell it all, that's fine. You can go national. You can go international. You maybe even go into space. I have no idea. But the fact of the matter is, starting local does not impact your ability to scale later on. And in fact, if anything, I would say it's the reverse. The people who start local, they're the ones who create a recurring base that's stable, that allows them at a later date to go outside and go national. The people who ignore local, go right to national, they have a very big likelihood of failing, because they fundamentally are just as terrible as everybody else. But now they're trying to create that trust over Zoom calls instead of being able to create that trust in person, which is a radically different situation.
For everybody that's watching that asked me that question, he just answered it.
Yeah. And we have an article on this in our help docs, and I'm certain you teach this in your course, but at the end of the day, the people say, well, okay, fine, where do I start? Hey, do you know any local business owners already? If you do, start there. If you don't, there are these things called chambers of commerce or BNI. And yeah, they're boring and they're old. And guess what? They work. That's the whole point. You do not get style points. You do not get money. You do not get success for doing the new cool thing. You get money for doing the thing that works. And the thing that works is you got to go to a place where all the local business owners already go, that where, it's the watering hole of local business. And it's a good thing to do. And the great thing is those organizations are set up this way because they're always looking for people who can come in and give them value. And so if you walk in the door to a chamber of commerce and say, listen, I'm not going to pitch anything. I'm just going to get up on stage and I'm going to tell all of these folks how to use AI to grow their business. You get up there and you give the best presentation of your life and you don't pitch anything. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to come up to you at the end of the thing and say, oh my God, that was amazing. Can you do that for me? And bam, you will have customers like you wouldn't believe. And yes, it's boring. Yes, it's old school. And yes, it works. So if you want to make money, go do that.
It's funny because I always tell people basically that same spiel you just said, but I also tell people, I say, how can you claim to be a master at one niche when you don't even understand marketing in general? You can't, you're not going to become perfect at one thing when you don't even understand the whole thing.
And honestly, the niche thing, I get why it sounds good. And I always try to tell people like this, like, just imagine you say, I'm gonna niche down in dentistry, right? And let's say you really are an expert in dentistry. Here's the problem. I think that people like to talk like they're logical, but we're not logical. We're emotional creatures. So when it's you, right, the dental expert who knows everything about dentistry and has been in the dental industry for 20 years, versus this local person who has the capacity to buy some donuts and drive down to the local dentist, you're almost always going to lose. The only people I know who can truly claim that the niche helps them, they are only selling to the top 1%.
Yeah.
And these are the guys who, when they want to make a purchase decision, they're getting on an airplane, they're leaving their business behind, they're having somebody else running manage it, and they're flying off to a conference. And I am telling you, that is the very minimal 1% of those industries. Almost everybody else is staying home. They never go to those conferences, and they're going to buy from local. And you can see this in the sense that if you look, like dentistry is a great example, go look at a company called Patterson Dental. They are a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company, but to the local dentist, they're a van that drives up and says, "Hi, I'm your Patterson guy. I'm here to deliver your dental supplies today." They feel, they act, and they are, as far as that dentist is concerned, a local brand, a local connection, even though they are theoretically a multi-billion-dollar corporation. But it's because they deliver local, and that's what you should.
Wow. Yeah, perfectly answered. So if you want to get in on the AI action, okay, I have a private community, private courses, all this stuff for free if you sign up with my link down below, okay? It's a Go High Level free trial. It's a 30-day, not a 14-day. And when you sign up with that, okay, you get access to $10,000 worth of bonuses for free. Okay, that's 3 live coaching calls every single week. Talk to me whenever you want. Message me whenever you want. You then get access to trainings on how to sell high level, trainings on how to master high level, tons of snapshots in every vertical, pre-built out automation, done for you prospecting systems, and so much more. And all of that is free when you sign up with my 30-day free trial link right down below. So again, if you're interested, you want to either scale your agency or start an agency, check out that link below. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment down below. I answer super fast. Anything at all, I'll answer. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and back to the video. So this is more of a personal question, Shaun, but I know you're an engineer by trade, and I know you love features and all that stuff, but now you're very much leading one of the growing SaaS, even AI companies out there. Have you had to really change your, I don't say persona, but that's a different sort of thing you're taking on from being the guy building to, and you still probably do build, but like to being the leader. Is it different or is it not?
So first of all, you never know where you're going to go in life, but it's funny how some of the things you do prior help you get where you are today. First and foremost, I am still the person I've always been. I think understanding strengths and weaknesses are important. I've never been a salesperson. I'm not a marketer. That's not my deal. And I've known that since the very get-go. And so I still get to do what I've always done, which is partner with amazing marketers and salespeople and watch them do what they do. And then on the building side, yeah, I'm not coding anymore, but every single day I am still talking about product. I'm still talking about features. We're still very much engineering and product led, and we always will be, because again, our role hasn't changed. Our mission is to create the best tools out there and provide them to the best experts who can make those sales. And that hasn't changed and won't change. That's really the role we're in. I have a lot more boring meetings than I used to have, for sure, but I still get the enjoyment out of doing what I've always done, which is talking to customers, understanding what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and figuring out how to fill that gap. And lucky for me these days, I have an amazing team to help me. So I guess the big thing is my job's just gotten easier as time has gone on, because now I have experts at all these different areas that can help actually bring these solutions to market. Whereas before, some of that stuff was actually me saying, "Oh, hold on, I had to write that code. I'll be right back." Subsequently, of course, the product has gotten a lot better, and I'm not at all surprised. I am an engineer, but I've always been a terrible engineer, so I just love it. But now it's in much better hands than mine. Yeah, I would say things have definitely evolved, but fundamentally stayed a lot more the same than you would imagine.
Awesome. Awesome. I guess we're winding down here. This is one more personal question, but do you have something that you're like most proud of that you built at high level? Is there like a crowning Shaun achievement, like something this is the thing, or is it just kind of like you love it all? Or has there been like this?
What I would say is, prior to high level, I actually ran my own SaaS company all by my lonesome. And I really, at the time, felt like that was like a crowning achievement. Like I could build it on my own. I could do all the customer service and everything else. But to be honest, I think that was a really an abysmal failure and a really good teaching lesson. What it taught me is trying to do this all on your own is a stupid idea, because fundamentally you are going to have strengths and weaknesses. And the sooner you know what those are and fill in the gaps with people who are really good at the things you are terrible at. And in fact, I'm proud to say things that I absolutely hate doing. Finding people who love that and that's their skill. That's how you build great things. It is a team. It is a team sport. And it's funny. It's not just on the actual team member side. It's also on the customer side. So if anything, what I'm proud of the fact is that High Level is not built by me. It's built by all of us. And it's something that I can say is very much a reflection of what our customers have asked of us, way more than it is any of my crazy ideas. And I'm also proud to say that the few times I've ever been passionate about one idea or another, most of the time, those have been terrible failures and great reminders of why I should be quiet and stay over here and play my position. And that's how great things happen in just making it a team sport. So for me, if anything, I'm just proud that we stayed on that mission and stayed on that focus.
I love that. I love it. So I guess winding down to the last two questions here. Do you guys plan on selling High Level here? Selling your souls, or are we going to keep it in house, or what? What's going on?
No, the only thing that I think of is how can we involve customers more? It might be a situation where we IPO so that we can broaden the ownership. And I fully expect that ownership to be mostly from our customers. And by being able to, because I think what's tough today is selling pieces of the company to people. It's hard to do at our size. So if we were to IPO, give an opportunity for customers to own. So for me, that would be the only thing we would consider. But outside of that, even there, we don't have any plans. But honestly, no. The good thing is we're a profitable company, and so we don't have any pressure to do anything. And it's still owned in majority ownership is all still held between me and my other two co-founders, and so nobody can tell us what to do. So the good news is we're profitable, we have control, so we get to forge our own destiny.
If that did happen, two real things that a lot of people ask me and worry about is, number one, what would happen to the affiliate program if that did happen? Number two, what would happen to unlimited sub accounts? Because I feel like if someone was to take majority ownership, like I don't see any other real.
Well, no one would take. So in an IPO scenario, no one would take majority ownership. I would still actually probably be the largest shareholder, but we would never get rid of those two things because they're so core to the business model that at the end of the day, they won't go away. And I certainly would quit over it. I'll tell you that. But again, I wouldn't put myself in a position where I could get outvoted by anybody. That's why we've done the two investors we have today. They're both minority owners. So they're passengers in the car. They can shout as loud as they want from the back seat about my terrible driving, but they don't get to tell them that I don't have to change how I drive just because they're complaining. And to be honest, we didn't take them on just randomly. We took them on because they believe in the model and they fundamentally believe in the vision. And so they don't spend any time telling us to get rid of unlimited sub accounts. They don't spend any time telling us to get rid of the affiliate model or change the pay or any of that other stuff. And we won't do that. It's core. If it's core to who we are, it's core to how we've gotten here. And I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's about being respectful to the people that promote us, giving them a surety in their future. And so for me, that's just never going to change.
I love that. Actually puts a lot of people at ease. I'm happy you said that. Last question. This is very tactical because I have a lot of agency owners in my community. It's primarily, who I'm teaching here. So we want some nuggies from Shaun Clark here. What would you
try my best?
Say what?
I'll try my best. Like you're way more of an expert than I am, but I'll give it a shot.
Hey. So the first, just out of this, two things would be, what would you tell agency owners that are first getting started? Okay, the people that are just getting a high level, because it's a big group of people. Oh, this is awesome. First thing you'd say to them. Then the second one would be, what would you tell people moving into the future with AI? Because there's a lot of people in the agency game like, oh, I might just sell my agency because they're tweaking out over AI taking over everything, doomsday level.
Sure.
What would you say for both?
So that first question is super simple. I get that High Level has a million features and it's very exciting, but just pick one. Inbound voice AI is my favorite of the moment. Pick one, get really good at it, and go local and make those sales. Because money solves not all life problems, but money solves all business problems. Growth solves all business problems, right? So, sitting around constantly tooling away, learning new things and making no money, making no sales doesn't help anybody, doesn't help you, doesn't help your future, doesn't help your family, doesn't help your business. So fundamentally, take one, don't be ashamed of the fact. In fact, we have some people that only sell one feature and do so with pride. You can too. But like everything, right? Like starting with one does not preclude you from later on doing more. So start with, we'll make some sales. That's number one. And then number two, you're nuts, because what's going to happen is if you go sell your agency, that's fine. but some other person's going to come along and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to go and learn the AI stuff. They're going to bring it in and they're going to make sales. Remember, as an agency, it's funny because I think we all as practitioners get hung up on what we do. Like, I'm an SEO person, I make websites, I do this, but nobody gives a darn about that. None of your customers care about that crap. They care that you create an end outcome for them. They're not buying your stupid website. I hate to break it to you. I'm sure it's beautiful, I'm sure it's amazing, I'm sure it's all the things that you think it is. But at the end of the day, if it didn't create an outcome for that business owner, they'd be like, that's cute, but no thanks. They're buying it for the outcome. And fundamentally, AI is just a new way to create that same outcome. And for you, you should be stoked, because the problem we used to run into is agency owners were in this bespoke hamster wheel business where they'd be like, I sell websites. Oh, sure you do, but you're really just selling your hours, because that website, once it's out there, like, okay, I need this week and this week and this week and this week and this week. And you're just always constantly on the hamster wheel, and you're really just doing bespoke custom work. Yeah. As lovely as that is, it's expensive and it doesn't scale. And in fact, if you think about outside of agencies, think about car companies. If every car that was ever made was custom and you had to, like, as a car owner, it could be like, oh, actually, I want this tweak and this tweak. Car companies wouldn't exist. They go broke, right? So you need to create fundamentally scalable business models. And man, AI just totally changes that game for you, because now you can do a lot of the more in-depth kind of stuff that I feel like agency owners always love to do, but you can now have AI do that depth instead of you doing that depth, and you can create a much more scalable enterprise. And the key there is you can actually bring the price points way down, because the thing that's always killed me is to watch people just go out and murder themselves making the best ad campaigns of all time. And they're like, oh, I'm $3,000 a month plus ad spend. And they get fired 2 months into the job, not because they're doing a bad job, but because the business owner just looks at the $3,000 and says to themselves, I have no idea how this could possibly be making me money, because they just don't have the time to sit down and look at all of the return on investment. And they just think, you know what, I'm going to fire this person. And that always sucks, because it's not a true measurement of people's worth. But when you're pricing it $300 a month, now you're a utility bill, you never get fired. And in this case, AI is doing all the work, and it's just such a tremendously different business model. And I promise you, go look at any business model that is super profitable and super scalable, and it'll always be low cost and recurring. You never see a super expensive recurring bill. No one wants to pay that. That doesn't exist. The only time that ever happens is it's one time, it's super expensive, and you probably end up later on hating it, but you've already made a purchase. No super, look at software companies, look at pharmaceutical companies, like, look, it's all about recurring small costs. That's how you make a lot of money. And this is what you're getting here. You're getting a business that can have those fundamentals, and those fundamentals really will define success for you way more than anything else. You're crazy not to just jump in and make this transition. If anything, if you're doing those old school marketing things and agency things, the sooner you get away from it, the better, because that's going to allow you to scale your business. And look, if you love websites or you love being creative, feel free to be either creative here, or if it doesn't work for you, go be creative as a hobby. This is a business. You want to make money, you want to scale. That's what you need to focus on.
I love it. This is actually a total bonus question that I just popped in my head, because I got to know this. Would you say now it's never been easier to start an agency with the dawn of AI?
I have to think so, because fundamentally back in the day, it was like, okay, first I have to learn all the stuff, and then I have to get good at it. And then once I want to scale, I have to go get like a bunch of people, and then I don't know how to hire. Oh, I know, I'll go get VAs, and some are good. And how do I know? And this, and there's VA agencies. And oh my gosh, it was just such a mess. But now you're saying, oh gosh, okay, all I have to do is really learn how to get agents working. And once I get agents working, the agents are what creates the scale. It's also what is the thing I'm selling fundamentally. I have to get good at one thing. And then now I can scale to an infinite number of clients. And I don't really have to worry about going out and hiring people. Because before it was like, I could hire someone local and that'd be great, but man, they're so expensive. So I'm going to go try to find cheap labor someplace, but now I don't know them. I don't have a connection with them. I'm concerned about their quality. Now you can scale to such a big level by yourself. And when you do need to hire, you can actually make that local hire, because you have so much revenue per customer that now you can have that person come in and you can watch them, teach them, they can get really good. And now you're creating this really scalable business that's super profitable the entire way through.
I love it. Well, Shaun, seriously, thank you so much for your time. Also, thank you for creating such a kick-ass product, because like it's made me a lot of money. Helped me out a lot. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got value from this. Shaun Clark is awesome. He's done so much for High Level and so much for us. There's a lot of great golden nuggets in this. But if you are interested in taking this to the next level, there will be a video that's going to pop up at the end of this screen to my free partnership. I recommend you check it out. It has all kinds of free goodies, and it can help you take it to the next level or help you start if you are a beginner. So please check that out. Again, it's a free partnership using High Level. I think you are going to absolutely love it. Again, just check it out. It's free. It's awesome. It's going to pop up at the end of the screen. But again, if you have questions or anything you're wondering, you can drop them down below. Okay, I answer very quickly, and just make sure you watch the video that pops up at the end of this screen.